everyone. I'm Pamela Matassa, and this is another Inside Ascension Departmental Profile. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Megan Choate. Megan is the Director of Animal Control, and we're so glad to have you over here today.
Thank you for having me.
It is so funny that you're here because just the other day, I had another television station call me and ask me questions relative to animal control. People want to know a lot about what do you do if you find animals on the side of the road? What happens if your animal goes missing? Where do you call? And then now that we're in hurricane season, there's probably some disaster information that you can kind of give us some tips and information. So I'm glad that you're here. You've got a lot to share with us. So how long have you been with Ascension Parish government?
15 years.
Wow. And all that time in animal control?
Give or take about 2 years.
You like it over there?
Oh, yes.
What's the most interesting thing about your job?
The different calls we receive.
You get some crazy calls?
Sometimes. About last year, we picked up a big old tortoise. That was different.
So you get all kinds of animals, not just furry friends.
Yeah, we're only supposed to deal with domesticated animals, cats, dogs, but
you get everything. All right, I want to start with you. What do you do when you see an animal you don't recognize and you don't want that animal on your property?
depends on the type of animal. It depends if the animal is aggressive, charging at you, charging at your kids, or if it's injured. If it's injured or aggressive, you call the Sheriff's Department, 621-8300. And that's because we only have two animal control officers in Ascension Parish. So the Sheriff's Office has a faster response time than we do.
Okay.
And we're trying to serve all 302 square miles.
Okay, so if it's not as aggressive, we can call the call center number, which is the 450-1200.
Yes.
So that's the general number, by the way. That's the call center number. So if anyone is having a general question or concern or information, call the call center number, and then people will field your calls and direct it wherever it needs to go. And so if you call in and it's not aggressive, it goes through here, then what happens?
If it's a dog, get a good description of the dog. The call center will take the information, your information, so that when we send an animal control officer out, they know where they're going. And somebody does have to be home, because legally we can't go on property with nobody there.
Okay, so what happens if it's not a dog or a cat?
Normally it depends. Like if it's wildlife, you'd call wildlife and fisheries.
So like a big old snake or an alligator or something like that?
And then they also have local people that'll do it, that'll pick up wildlife.
Okay, I didn't know that. What about roadkill?
If it's on a state highway impeding traffic, that'd be DOTD. And it depends on the size or the type. On a parish road, sometimes it would be DPW.
Does DOTD, do they regularly patrol to check for?
No, I think they have to get a call in.
Aha. So do sometimes people try to call you guys about that?
Oh, yes.
All the time, huh? Okay, where does the animal go once animal control officer picks it up?
As long as it's a stray, as long as it's not aggressive, let me say it that way, they'll go to the Kara's house.
And Kara's house is the local animal shelter? Tell me about Kara's house.
They're contracted with Ascension Parish to provide care for all the stray, injured, neglected animals that come in from the parish.
And how many are we talking about generally?
Thousands.
Thousands. So we're looking for some good homes for some animals in the community, right? And do you know anything about Kara's house? Tell me a little bit about them. I know that we've got a fundraiser coming up. We want to talk about that too. So we can throw that out at this time as well. So Kara's house is always doing something to help get those animals into a good home. So if an animal is found, we know that it's a good, they feel that they know it's a good home, it needs to go to a good home, then those animals are then put up for adoption, right? And Kara's house tries to get them matched with the right person.
They also do a walk around the parish where you can go take a dog out for a day, bring them to a park, stuff like that.
That was my next question. So you can kind of take them on a field test, see if it matches right with your family. Okay. Well, that's kind of good. That's kind of a cool thing. I know that I had a piece of paper here. There's the save the date for a Pause and Relax fundraiser that they're having coming around July the 28th from 5 to 9 p.m. That's at Spanky's in Prairieville. And this fundraiser raises money for Kara's house. I know that we try to do a lot to help people with Kara's house because we have all of those animals that go through. Let's move on to a little bit about pet disaster recovery information. What happens in the event of a hurricane, in the event of an emergency? We are in the middle of hurricane season right now, and we think about what do we do to prepare ourselves and our families. We want to prepare our pets as well. What do we need to be thinking about?
Essentially, you want to also pack a go bag for your animal. Covers with their food, water, medication if they have it, anything you'd need for your animal, vet records, any type of identification, anything like that. We'll have a checklist that we could put up on the Facebook page.
Yeah, and so you want to make sure that you have that survival kit for your animal in the event of a disaster. You're going to want to make sure you have all of the documents that they need, all of the water, the food, the medications, like you mentioned.
Leashes, harness.
Yes, and all of the supplies that you need. If you have to travel and evacuate, make sure you've got those things handy. Any of the vet information that you need, any of their emergency contacts as well, because people might not think about it, but pets have documents, they have information that you need for them as well.
Mm-hmm. And if you're traveling with a pet, there's a really great website that tells you what hotels or motels will accept you with pets.
So what if you have an animal that goes missing? You have your little pet, Susu goes missing. What do?
You can call the call center number. The call center number
Yeah.
for 50-1200. They will forward you to Kara's House, or you can go to Kara's House website. They have a lost found report that you could fill out.
And then you can kind of take it from there.
Yep. I would say go to the shelter when they're open. They have some new hours of operation for July. But if you go to the shelter, you can see if your animal's there, and if not, leave a lost report.
And we're putting up now those new hours of operation for Kara's House in Ascension Parish. They're located at 9894 Airline Highway in Sorrento. And if you have any questions or information, you can call them at 675-0400. That's 675-0400. Kara's House is closed on Sunday, and on Saturday they're only open from 10 until 2 for adoptions only. Take a look at the hours of operation on your screen. They do have some hours that are open for just appointments only. Some hours are for adoption and intakes as well. So take a look at that. If you are a pet lover, and we have some pet lovers here around Ascension Parish, we want to get you involved with Kara's House. They have a lot of opportunities out there, a lot of things going on in and around Ascension Parish. So for our animal lovers, we want to invite you to get to know what's happening relative to Kara's House and our animal control. And we wanted to tell you about Megan and get a face with a name and what is animal control, what you guys do. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about animal control and your responsibilities? So you have 2 patrol cars, and your primary concern, or your primary function then, of those control cars is to go around the parish and just field calls and respond to the needs of the constituents in the parish relative to animals.
Mm-hmm. The residents of the parish will serve them, and the Sheriff's Department or Gonzales Police Department.
All right, well, Megan, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And if you want to know more information about what's going on inside Ascension, well, just stay tuned to Ascension 21. You're watching Inside Ascension, and this was a departmental profile brought to you by Ascension Parish Government.